What's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing. I'm very excited to showcase this deck profile to you guys today. It's actually been a long time coming. I've done quite a few updates on my Gem Knight build. It's a deck I've been fooling around with ever since Hidden Arsenal was actually viable. When Constellars and Evil Swarms and, you know, Dragon Rulers were running around. It was just like a really fun and diverse format. But Gem Knights were actually one of my favorite decks at that time, and they've been one of my favorite decks since then. They've just evolved to a state where they're actually able to be a viable meta deck. It's just certain, you know, they creep in and out similar to certain decks that are good then and then like they're bad then. This is a deck that's just like way too powerful. It's arguably the best fusion deck in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! It has probably more fusion cards than even heroes have, and their R-type and heroes have like a lot of ways to fuse, like, you know, different spells that fuse. And this deck is just retarded. It's like so freaking broken. It's the deck that Brilliant Fusion was made for to begin with. It's really powerful. This is an extremely spicy build that I'm coming at you guys with. It has a lot of combos, and it's insane the way it gets to go off. If you could just set up with a Brilliant Fusion or a Gem Knight Fusion, you can go all the way off. Like, I built it to be more link heavy than anything, because this deck's able to link summon so well and produce all kinds of crazy overwhelming plays, powerful first turn boards. The only problem is it burns through its extra deck really fast, so you kind of have to finish your game fast. But anyways, we're gonna hop right into this this deck profile. This is an update. The last Gem Knight deck profile I did actually it blew up, but I tried something new with editing my videos, and I played the Yu-Gi-Oh! Theme song in the background, but it's just too loud, and I understood why people were like, this music's too loud. So I'm just gonna do this one with no music. Without further ado, in the main deck, I'm actually playing 2 copies of Black Dragon. This guy, he actually is really insane. Like, oh my god, he's just freaking retarded. I'm gonna read this card to you. So he cannot be normal summoned or set. He has to be special summoned from your hand or graveyard. So he can basically revive himself as many times as you want. And it has to be done so by banishing 3 earth monsters from your hand or your graveyard, and he cannot be special summoned by other ways. And rock type monsters you control cannot be destroyed except by battle. That's very important to keep in mind because your fusions are pretty huge. You can make like huge beat sticks that basically can't really be attacked over, and then they can't be destroyed by any card effects. So he gives you main deck protection for your plays, and then when you make these insane like broken boards, he's like the addition to that board to make it more broken, because now it makes it almost unbreakable. And he has another insane effect, which is actually my favorite. If this card's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add up to 3 rock type monsters from your deck to your hands whose total levels equal 8. You can only use that effect once per turn. So he's insane also because whenever you link summon with him, he gets sent from the field to the graveyard. So when you link summon with him, you get to plus really this is like on some straight up spiral bullcrap. This is some shenanigans that spirals pull off. I'm telling you, like this is like the master plan of the deck. You know, like master plan gives you all these pluses. This guy just sits here with a 3k booty. He protects all your rock types. Every single fusion that your Gem Knights make, except for the attribute-based ones, which are just these 3, are all rocks. Everything is rock except for the Thunder one, the Pyro, and the Aqua. But they have to be, you have to use their type to make them. So this card is just retarded. He's just redunculous. He's so powerful. With Mrs. Radiant, puts him as a 3500 wall or just a 3k attack swinger. Oh my god. This card is just like, he's one of the best cards in this deck. I can sit here and talk about this guy for like 10 minutes. He is freaking insane. This card like makes Gem Knights retarded. I really am on debate whether or not I play 3 of him, but like once you get 1 in rotation, you can keep summoning it back from the grave and keep using him to link summon or to fuse with him because he is an earth rock type, and there's a lot of Gem Knight fusions that specifically require like a earth type, that require a rock type monster and then like a Gem Knight monster, which totally works out. So he can be the rock type that you need for your fusion attribute. He's obviously earth, and you can make generic links with him. He's just so freaking good. Oh my god, that's why I have to read his effect to you, because he's broken, and a lot of people don't actually know what Black Dragon does. He's like, oh my god, he's just so freaking good for this deck. 2 copies of Black Dragon. He's like the main deck boss monster. He's so freaking good. 3 Gem Armadillos. I really need to open up with this card a lot. It's the best normal summon of the deck. It's the normal summon that matters because he searches you the best Gem Knights instead of hard drawing them. He searches you Obsidian and Lazuli. Obsidian and Lazuli in addition to Block Dragon, are extremely crucial to the combos because they allow you to overwhelm your opponent by just making these crazy boards because they add the resources back you need to continue fusing basically for free. Like if you fuse using Lazuli and Obsidian and Lazuli with your Gem Knight fusion, you literally get to add 2 cards. You get 1 monster back to your hand, you get the special one of the field, and Gem Knight fusion comes back to your hand. So you basically just fusion for free. It's just retarded, dude. Gem Armadillo is like way too broken. The only thing that will make him more broken is if he was a Gem Knight in his name, but he's not. So you can't actually search him except through the Black Dragon, which I actually like. Like, because it says it's up to 3 and their levels can add up to 8, you can literally search yourself 2 Gem Armadillos. Because he literally, that's what he says in his card effect. You add rock type monsters from your deck to your hand up to 3 and their levels equal 8 totally. So you can add 2 level 4s. All the monsters are rocks. Or you can actually do something really, really funny and cute. You can add, like, for example, an Obsidian and a Lazuli and then a Gem Armadillo, and those are 3 monsters whose levels combined still equal 8. So when you link with him, you can literally go +3. And if you add Armadillo, Obsidian, and Lazuli, you have the best monsters for your fusion plays because then you can normal summon your Armadillo, use him to search another, use these cards to extend your plays, add them back with Mistress Radiant. It's just, dude, like, oh my god. I'm going to have to do a completely separate video to show you guys just how powerful the combos are with this deck. I don't understand why this isn't meta, but I'm gonna make it meta. I said that to a bunch of my friends. I was like, dude, why doesn't anybody play Gem Knights? My boy's like, bro, you play Gem Knights. I'm like, but dude, I play all the old decks. Like, I appreciate every single deck and realize it's you know, capacity to be meta. I realize its potential. I'm like, dude, you know what? I'm gonna make the best Gem Knight deck that anybody has ever seen. And then my boy's like, go for it. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it today. And then one Gem Gem Turtle. I just like him because he's juicy. He's juicy, he's thick, he's like a Saki one-of. He's just really, really powerful. I love this dude. Like, he's just way too broken. He's way too OP. Gem Turtle is just so freaking strong. He searches Gem Knight Fusion. That's the only thing he does, but it's just, he has 2,000 booty. Mrs. Radiant, 2,500. You can't get over that, dude. You just can't kill this guy. He's way too strong. He's juicy. That's the only reason why I play him. He's just way too juicy. He's way too sexy. He has a fat emerald on his back. He's that sexy turtle. I also like the artwork of this. It's like a combination of Crystal Beast and Elemental Heroes at the same time. Gem Knights have like the best freaking artwork ever. And then moving forward with the monster lineup, we play arguably the best Gem Knight monster in the main deck, which is Lazuli. Lazuli lets you, when she's fusion summon, when you fusion summon with her, or just send her to the graveyard with the card effect, which you can use your Lapis Lazuli to do that to burn your opponent to death. You can add a normal monster from your graveyard to your hand. So she's pretty good extending your plays because every single Gem Knight monster that's not her and Obsidian, they're all normals or Geminis. Meaning either way they're normals. Especially, you know, they're treated as normals in the grave. They're always treated as normals basically. So you just add anything back basically to your hand. It extends your plays. It lets you keep fusion summoning. You can add back monsters that you lost later on or earlier in the game and you need your resources back. So she's just like an extender and also a recovery play. Then we play 3 copies of Obsidian. Obsidian produces the field presence to be a lot more relevant because this is how you overwhelm your opponent by spamming those monsters. He allows you to make rank 4s he makes rank 4s a lot more accessible in this deck, although I don't go too heavy on the rank 4s. The thing with this deck, it's so versatile is because it can make rank 7s, it can make rank 8s, it can make rank 5s, and it can make rank 4s. So 8s, 7s, 5s, and 4s are all the XYZs you can make. You can never actually fit everything that this deck can make in the entire extra deck without playing the best fusions. So it's like, no matter what, there's always going to be good cards that you're trying to play, but you're trying to find room for. So this deck is just like so versatile. You can be so creative with it. And that's why it's one of my favorite decks to this day. Obsidian is just redonkulous. And like I said, you want to search Lazuli, Obsidian, and then another level 4 off your Black Dragon so you can plus heavy off of it. It's like, oh my god, I'm telling you, it's like if you've seen Spirals go off, this deck goes off so similarly. It just doesn't have a sleeper. And then we're playing 2 copies of Ember. Amber is the best Gemini in the deck. So if she gets normal summon with her effect, which, you know, you could do so with Brilliant Fusion, double summon her, however you want to do it. She can basically banish a Gem Knight. I'm sorry, it's not banish a Gem Knight. You send a Gem, yeah, I was right. You send one Gem Knight card from your hand to your graveyard, and then you can target one of your banished monsters and add that target to your hand. She adds any banished monster, so like basically she's universal because she recycles any banished monster. It doesn't specifically say Gem Knight, so she arguably could be played in basically any deck that can, you know, abuse the double summon mechanic. so that you can use her effect and recycle any banished monsters. The reason why that's so important is because Gem Knight Fusion actually banishes Gem Knights from your graveyard in order to add itself back to hand. And it also, she'll also let you extend your plays because certain fusions like Lady Brilliant Diamond, if you run out of her, you can just banish her with Gem Knight Fusion and use Amber to actually pitch Gem Knight Fusion again, put her back into your extra deck, and then add Gem Knight Fusion back from your grave to your hand, and just keep doing it over and over. There's like a lot of degenerate loops in this deck that have not got touched by the ban list, which is pretty darn ridiculous. But I think it's because Gem Knights have been overlooked as an archetype themselves. It's similar to like Mist Valleys, Ice Barriers, X-Sabers, Scraps, Black Wings, all the decks I just aforementioned. Like, all these decks get overlooked so much, people don't realize the potential. Dude, I see potential in decks that aren't meta. We already know that meta decks have potential or they wouldn't be in the meta. But what I like to do is try to see what we can do with these decks that people are just sleeping on. And that's why this channel has been so successful, because we just show appreciation to the casual players. You know, some people are like, I don't want to play meta. I just want a really fun, cool deck that I enjoy. And that's what we try to do. We try to give you the best builds for those kind of decks. And we also do meta. Of course we do meta, you know, because there's people that like meta. 2 Sardonyx, basically this guy lets you add any Gem Knight card from your deck to your hand. He's like a Stratos of the deck. He's insane. And 1 Eyelight is really, really good. He lets you banish a Gem Knight card from your graveyard in order to add a Gem Knight card from your graveyard to your hand. It's a little weird, but Eyelight and Amber actually loop each other and set up this crazy never-ending thing where you can add from your banish zone and your graveyard in combination with each other. It's like, use her, pitch, add from banish, or use him, banish, add, and then use her, pitch, add from banish. It's like a never-ending circle of life, and he also searches too. So basically, Gem Knights can add anything from their banish zone, graveyard, or deck to hand. So no matter where you put it, it's never like they can't touch it. They can recycle anything. They never run out of resources. It's pretty darn good for the grind games. 1 Sapphire and 1 Tourmaline and 1 Lapis to sum up the vanillas. I actually don't play Garnet because I don't have my Garnets. I sold them when they were like 10 bucks a pop. And the way I saw it was like, Garnet is actually not mandatory in Gem Knights because you actually only need, if you're trying to play a certain fusion, you actually only need the Pyro type, which Sardonyx is actually a Pyro type. He's not a 1900 like Garnet, but of course under Mrs. Radiant, he's 2300, which is still relevant. And he's the same attribute. Well, not same attribute, he's the same type as Garnet, so he does the same thing for the deck. So he's literally like my Garnet with an effect. The only benefit that one could say that Garnet gives you in this deck is he has 1900 attack, which doesn't really matter because I have a 21 booty. Mrs. Radiant makes everything huge. So like if I summon Sapphire from the grave off of Obsidian, she'll be at 2600 defense if she's a level 4. Like, I think Link format made so many decks more broken. Like, people said Link format's horrible. I love Link format. I'm so happy that Link format exists. None of the decks got neutered. Pendulums are still a thing. Nothing died. It's just like the game got a lot more advanced, a lot more difficult, a lot more thinking, you know. It's more like a chess game now. But these are my 3 vanillas. Lapis for the actual fusion you need to just burn your opponent to death. And Crystal Rose to send off of your Brilliant Fusion in order to make the Seraphonite live. And Crystal Rose has an insane effect that allows you to actually extend your combos by pitching a Gem Knight from your deck to your grave, and then it becomes that name. So you can pitch Lazuli, and then Lazuli will get you to add. And if I'm not mistaken, does she get their effect? No, it just gets her name. So you use her to pitch Lazuli, and Lazuli will add back from your grave to your hand. So when you Brilliant Fusion, you can actually go +2 off of your Brilliant Fusion. And you're also loading your grave for the resources you need to get your Black Dragon. It's just, oh my god, this deck just goes off. I'm telling you, dude, like, I've been explaining it so much. The deck really does freaking go bananas. It's just so darn good, man. Black Dragon, oh my gosh, I love Black Dragon. Another thing that's really cool with Black Dragon is you can send it off of Brilliant Fusion in order to make your Zirconia, and then you can special summon this back from the graveyard and overlay this in Zirconia to make a rank 8. Like I was saying, the deck can make rank 8, 7s, 5s, 4s. There's just so many different things that can do. It's so versatile and freaking broken, dude. I love this deck so much, as you can clearly tell. And for spells, we play 3 Absorb Fusion. It's literally a Stratos for any Gem Knight card and a Confuse. It's like a Fusion, Stratos, Rhoda, Retarded. And then Rotarded. Then 3 Gem Knight Fusion. The most degenerate fusion spell card that Konami ever made. It's the best fusion spell card. If you ask any player that knows about this deck, what's the best fusion spell card that Konami ever made, they'll say Gem Knight Fusion. Why? Because once you have one, you can go through your entire extra deck with this one spell and you'll never need to search another copy. It's just so retarded. It's not even hard once per turn. And I actually have to proxy my 3 Brilliant Fusions because I sold them I sold my 3 Brilliant Fusions, basically my whole Brilliant package, back when Ash was at 45 to get my 3rd Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It was totally worth it, but I'm proxying the Brilliant Fusions. Please forgive me. I'm going to get them later on. And 1 Particle Fusion, because of the OTK that it enables. There was a Topaz OTK where you would Particle Fusion Topaz, put him at like 4,800, and then he can attack twice. And then whatever damage he does, you inflict it to your opponent. No, whatever monster he destroys, you inflict that monster's attack to your opponent. So it's like overkill. But you still do this to make insane beaters. I just really like it. It's a great one-of. It's just like one of those stacky cards. Like when you resolve it, you can just get game and OTK your opponent. So the only spells I play are fusion spells. So if I draw a spell, I'm pretty happy. And then for traps, we pay basically a Solemn Judgment. Paradox Fusion lets you negate a special summon, which, you know, in plural, so you can negate Pendulum Summons. And you can also negate spells and traps with this. So it's like a pseudo Solemn Judgment. It doesn't negate monster effect. But the most important thing to keep in mind is it banishes the fusion monster that you control, and then that fusion monster returns from your extra monster zone back to your main monster zone, because similar to Cypher and Lord Omega, it left the field and returns to the main monster zone. So that's one of the best beneficial factors that this card gives. It contributes to your playstyle in order for you to stun your opponent to negate with the spell speed 3. This actually counter strike because it is a counter trap that can negate spells or traps, and special summons, which is a plus. And then you banish a fusion monster for cost that you control, and it'll return to your main monster zone. So there's no downside to this card. And then you have to play the Solemn Brigade, which is 3 Solemn Strikes and 1 Solemn Warning. All ultis, baby. You gotta play the ultis. And of course, 2 gym enhancements. Gym enhancement is pretty insane. So I'm probably gonna have to explain this card. You tribute 1 Gym Knight monster you control and special summon 1 Gym Knight monster from your graveyard. So you can literally tag out. For example, if you have a super broken Gym Knight fusion in your graveyard and you want to get it back, you can normal summon Lazuli, for example, tribute her off with this trap. She gets her effect to add from grave to hand, and then you special summon any Gym Knight fusion that was properly fusion summoned already from your graveyard to your main monster zone. It's an extender. You can activate it in battle phase, and it's also like a safe lock because it enables you to make any rank, basically XYZ play you want. And then there's certain fusions, like for example, the Amethyst, that get effects if they're sent from field to grave. So you can tribute her off and then target herself and special summon her back as long as you already had a legal target in grave. You'll bounce all your opponent's back rows, and then you can do her effect again. It's insane. This is like one of my favorite traps. It's just so good. It's like for the combos, dude. The extra deck is where it's at. 1 Lady Brilliant Diamond and 1 Master Diamond. This is the king and the queen of the deck. He's any Gym Knight fusion he wants to be, and he gains 100 attack for every gym monster, and she's just retarded. You spam her off a Brilliant Fusion or just the regular way, dude. Like, she summons any Gym Knight you want from your extra deck by tributing herself off. She's stupid. Or you can actually like make her under Mrs. Radiant and then normal summon a Gym Knight and then use her effect, send that to the graveyard, and special summon another Gym Knight from your extra deck. So she lets you fusion without a fusion spell, basically. 2 Zirconia, 1 Prismara, 1 Citrine, and 1 Amethyst. These are cards I really want to play more, but it's so tight in the extra deck. He's basically Armades. This is like a pseudo Heavy Storm, and this is also, or Giant Trunade. I know somebody's gonna correct me. I'll correct myself first. Giant Trunade, not Heavy Storm. Prismara is like a Baby Dryden. He lets you pop face-up cards, which is pretty darn relevant. 1 Lapis Lazuli to burn you for game, and then the Proxy Seraphinite. Because, you know, like I said, I sold the package. That's it for the fusions. There's like a nutty combo that you do with Amethyst. Like, there's a lot of combos that you can do with her. But then for the links, we have 2 Mrs. Radiant, 1 Decode Talker, Topo. Oh my god, Topo's insane in this deck. And 1 Firewall. And for the XYZs, I only have room for 1 XYZ because of the links that I wanted to play, so I chose Baguska. Because you end your board with links anyway, so you can put Bagusta, slap them right next to it. It completes your board, and it's like your opponent can't do anything. Like I said, this deck is so similar to Spirals. It's so similar to Spirals, I promise you. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I play the Baguska because it makes so much sense to me. It doesn't hurt me, especially when I link off everything. But anyways, the combo I was talking about with Topo is, once you make Topo, you can summon Amethyst in one of his zones, and then he'll automatically blow her up and blow everything else up, and then her effect gets off, and basically this becomes a Raigeki and a Giant Trunade in one, because when she's sent for the field to the graveyard, obviously he destroys her with his own effect. She bounces all your opponent's spells and traps, so he'll destroy all the monsters and she'll get rid of all the spells and traps. You literally clear the entire field with that combo, and you can still spam the rest of your fusions and link off if you want. It's just really insane. I think I'm going to do a combo tutorial in another video because this video is already becoming a bit too long, but I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I hope you understand how freaking powerful this deck is. It's so many ways you can recycle things. It's a lot of combos you can do. You just like, oh my god, you just go off with this deck. So heavy, it's crazy, dude. But thank you guys. God bless you. Make good choices and don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for the combo video that's coming up when I get the chance, because I gotta go to work. Peace.